Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial by Zebra Code. In this tutorial, we are going to learn how to connect to a PostgreSQL database with Java. I will be using NetBeans as my integrated development environment IDE. You can use any IDE of your choice. In the process of doing this video, we will create a Java Maven project. We will implement CRUD operations. That is, we will create a database and a table. We will insert data inside the database table. We will read data from our database table. We will update data in our database table. And finally, we will learn how to delete data from a database table. To do that, we need to open our integrated development environment. I will use NetBeans as my IDE. Now I am going to open NetBeans. Now I have the NetBeans IDE opened and I am going to create a project. This project is going to be about the railway transportation. So I will create a project and name it Transportation. It is going to be a Maven's project. To do that, I will create the project here, new project. Java with Maven, Java application, click Next. Now I will give the project a name. We'll call it Transportation. Now I will click Finish. Great. Now the project is created and it shows here transportation. I am going to delete these lines because we don't need them. I will also delete this one. And I will delete this one. Okay. Because it is a Maven's project, I am going to add PostgreSQL to it as a dependency. To do that, I need to open the project POMs file to add the dependency to it. I will click this folder, project files. Now I will double click on the POM.xml file. Now with the POM.xml file opened, I am going to add the dependency to it here. Dependencies, close it. Because it is an XML file, we need to close every tag that we open. So dependencies open, dependencies close. In between the two tags, I will enter another tag, dependency, and I will also close it. Now I will add the group ID, org.PostgreSQL. The artifact ID, I will be PostgreSQL. And finally, the version. As at the time of doing this video, the version 42.7.4 is the latest. So I will enter here 42. So it's this one here, and I will click it. Now save it. You can leave it open or close. This time, let's return to our transportation.java file. It's this one here. But before we do anything here, let's create a database. To create our database, we can use the PostgreSQL shell CLI or the PGD admin. I will work with both here, but you can use any of them. At the moment, it shows that I have three databases: the default Postgres database, the students database, and the university database, which I created in my previous videos. Now to create the transport database, I will right click here, create database, and I will name it transport. Owner, Postgres. I will leave it as it is here by default. And now I will click Save. Great. Now it shows that I have 4 databases, and the transport database which I have just created is here as well. And we can check that one in our Postgres share CLI. If I say here now \L, hit enter, exactly. Now the transport database is also here. I'm going to minimize this, and I will minimize this. Now we have our database created. Let's start adding Java code to this file to connect to our PostgreSQL transport database. First, I will import some Java SQL classes here. Import java.sql.connection. Import java.sql.connection. Import java.sql.driverManager, semicolon. Import java.sql.resultSet. Import java.sql.sql_exception, semicolon. Import java.sql.statement. We are going to be using these classes later on, and that's why we have to import them here. It shows here at the moment that the imported classes have not been used. That's why they are underlined in yellow color. Now let's set our database connection. I will leave a comment here. Set database connection details. String jdbc URL path equals double quotes jdbc colon Postgres SQL colon / localhost colon 5432, which is the port number for Postgres SQL / now the name of our database, transport, semicolon. Now for the username, string username equals double speech marks is Postgres. This is Postgres, not Postgres SQL, because when we created the database we called it Postgres as the owner. Now the password, string, I will call it pwrd equals double quotes. Now enter your password. In my case, I have a default password for this. Use your own password. Now let's register the Postgres SQL driver. I will leave a comment here too. Register Postgres SQL driver. Now to register it, I'll say here class dot for name double quotes org dot Postgres SQL dot driver, semicolon. It is showing an error message here. Click on it. Add true clause for exception. Add class not found exception, which is this one here. So now this error message is gone. Let me move this one up a bit. Now let's connect to our database. I will leave a comment here. Connect to database. Connection. Let's create an object of the connection class. I will call it con equals driver manager dot get connection. Now let's enter our database connection details. The first one there is JDBC URL path, comma. The second one is username, comma, and the third one is for the password, which is PWRD, semicolon. I am using these details here. There is an error message here. I'll click on it. It says SQL exception needs to be added to it, and here now it says throws SQL exception. So the error message is gone. Now we can carry out some database transactions. I will leave a comment here. Implement planned database transactions. Implement planned database transactions. Statement. I'm going to create an object of the statement class. I'll call it stmt equals con.create statement. Semicolon. Save it. I am going to move this one up a bit. Now let's create a table in our database. String SQL equals double speech marks create table if not exists, and the name of the table we call it train. The first column here will be for the ID, and it's going to be of data type int ID, integer, primary key, comma. The second column will be operator name, and it will be of data type varchar. And I will set it to 100, comma. The next column will be departure station, and it will be of data type varchar, and I will set it to 100. The next column will be destination, and it will be of data type varchar, and I will also set it to 100. The next column will be departure time. This can be of a different data type, but I will also set it to varchar. I will set it to 6. And finally, the next column will be arrival time. This can also be of a different data type, but I will also set it to varchar. 6. Now I will add a semicolon to complete this statement. Save it. So what this SQL query will do is it will create a table named train, and the table will have these columns: ID, operator name, departure station, destination, departure time, and arrival time. The ID is of data type int, that's integer, it's a primary key, and the other columns are of data type varchar. And let me move this one up a bit. Now we have created the query. We need to execute it. To do that, I will say here stmt dot execute, semicolon. We created an object of this statement class, and now we are going to execute that statement for our SQL. Save it. Normally we can do a check here to see if the table has been created successfully or not, but I'm not going to do any check here. I will just add a statement to say table created successfully. System.out.println system.out.println table created successfully. Now I am going to build this application. To do that, I will right click here, transportation, build, because it is a Maven project. Great, build was successful. Here it says build success. I'm going to close this one now and run it. Now I will run it. Exactly. Here it says table created successfully and build success. Now let's check to see that our table was actually created successfully in the database. I will go to the PostgreSQL shell. I am still on the Postgres database. I will change to the transport database /c. The name of the database I want to change to transport, semicolon, hit enter. It says you are now connected to database transport as user Postgres. Now let's check the tables inside the transport database /dt, hit enter. Exactly. Here it shows the table train has been created. I will minimize this, and if we use the pgd4admin to check it, we will get the same result. Here is our transport database schema, tables, and we can see the train table is right here, which means it was created successfully. Now let's go back to our code in NetBeans. Close this. This time I'm going to delete this line. Now that we have created our table, let's insert data into the table. I will leave a comment here. Insert data into table. String SQL underscore insert equals double quotes insert into train values. I'll enter here 711042, comma. I am using single quotes inside here. Drill, comma, action gate, comma, marina zone, comma, departure time will be, I'll put here 07:40, comma, single quote, and arrival time will be, I'll put here 14:50, semicolon. Let me move this one here so that we can see more of it. Now we can execute the SQL statement. That will be stmt dot execute SQL underscore insert, semicolon. Save it. What is going on here is easy to understand. I will quickly explain it. We have a variable, and it's of data type string. With this variable, we want to use this SQL insert statement to add these values to our database table. This number is for the ID column. This is for the rail operator name. This is for the departure station name. This is for the destination station name. This is for the departure time, and this is for the arrival time. I will save it. Now we can run our application again. I will click here. Great. it was run successfully. It says here build success. Now let's check our database table to see if that data has actually been entered. I will open the PostgreSQL shell here. Now I will say here select star from table name train semicolon, hit enter. Great. So the data was actually inserted successfully. It says here ID, operator name, old rail, departure station, action gate, destination, marina zone, departure time 0740, and arrival time will be 1450. I'm going to close this one. Now I am going to change these values a few times so that we insert more data into our database table. Change this one to 338710, new line, venture city, central district, 1915 2230. Save it. I will run it again. Great. It says build success. I will close this one. I'm going to change it again. City Hopper, and the name of the train company. Crown Park. Destination. Return. Time 11:00. Arrival time 13:40. I will run it again. Great, it was run successfully. Let's add one more. I will change the values again. Intercity, that's the name of the rail company. It's going from Lower Mountain to Modern Avenue. Time 09:35, and arrival time will be 17:11. Save it, and I will run it again. Great, that was built successfully. It says here build success. I will close this one. Now let's use the PostgreSQL shell to view our table. We run the same command again. Exactly. Now we have these records in our database table. I will minimize this. Now we can view our database table records here. Before we do that, I'm going to comment these two lines out for now. I will leave a comment here. Read data from database table. Here, result set. I'm going to create an object of the result set class. I will call it res equals stmt dot execute query double quotes select star from, and the name of the table train semicolon. Now I will use a while loop to print out everything. Say while res.next. Let me move this one up a bit. String train ID column equals res.getString. That will be for the ID. I will do the same for all the columns. String operator name column equals res.getString, and that will be for the operator name. Semicolon. String departure station column equals res.getString departure station. Semicolon. Hit enter. String destination column equals res.getString destination. Semicolon. Two more. String departure time column equals res.getString departure time. Semicolon. And the last one, string arrival time column equals res.getString double quotes arrival time. Save it. Before I go further, these values here, ID, operator name, departure station, destination, departure time, arrival time, are all declared here. These are the values we declared when we created the table. Now let's print out the information. We'll see here system.out.println train information plus double quotes, space. That we put a space in between the values that we will be getting. Train ID column plus double quotes, space plus operator name column plus double quotes, space. There is a typo here. Let me fix this one. All right, now that error message is gone. Plus departure station column plus double quotes, plus destination column plus double quotes, space plus departure time column plus double quotes, space plus arrival time column. Save it. Now we need to close our statements and database connections. I'll leave a comment here. Database connection. So I will say here stmt dot close res dot close and con dot close. Now I will save it. So this is to print out these variables that we created here and assigned these columns to. Now I will save and run it again. Great, it was run successfully, and now all the records in our database table are printed out here. Train information. This is the first train, this is the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. So what we have here now is exactly same as what we have here. Now let's update our database table. I'll close this one. To do that, I'll scroll up a bit. I am going to enter a statement in here to update the table. I will leave a comment here. Update table. I will create a variable here, and it's going to be of data type string SQL underscore update equals double quotes update. The name of our table is train. Set operator name equals coaster and group CLG, where ID equals, I'm going to use this very ID here, 678835, semicolon. I will save it. This time I need to execute that query. That will be stmt.execute SQL underscore update, semicolon. Save it. Now I am going to run it again. Exactly, it was run successfully, and this record now has been updated. So it has now changed the operator name to coaster line group. Before it was intercity. It has now been updated to coaster line group. I'm going to close this one, and I am going to comment this SQL statement out. This time let's delete a record from our database table. I will leave a comment here. Delete a record from the table. I will create a variable here, and it's going to be of data type string SQL underscore delete equals double quotes delete from name of our table tray, where departure station equals, let's look at the result to see the names that we've got there. For example, Crown Park, semicolon. Now let's run that query. stmt.execute SQL underscore delete, semicolon. I'm going to save it and run it. Exactly, it was run successfully. It says here build success, and now we have only 3 records in our database. Before there were 4, now 1 has been deleted. So if we go to our PostgreSQL shell now, at the last run we had 4 records in our database. Now I'm going to run the same query again. Select from train. Exactly, now we have only 3 records in our database. Before there were 4, now we have only 3 because 1 has been deleted. You need to close this. In the process of doing this video, we perform the CRUD operations, that is create, read, update and delete. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe to the channel. See you in my next video. Bye for now.